Well, you don't win them all, and that's going to be the case with this 2002 Subaru WRX wagon, a car I've always really liked, and for the market that I'm in, which is Denver, Colorado, a turbo all-wheel drive stick shift wagon doesn't get much better than that for over here, and that's why I took a risk and bought it. This car was found on Craigslist. It was listed for a pretty low price, $2,900. I was prepared to pay that price. I sent an email early. This was a seller who was pretty guarded, did not put a phone number on there, and wanted to meet at a public location. So I kind of went into this a bit blind. Sorry for the noise here. And I knew it had some flaws. What was disclosed is that it needed new brake pads. Okay, no big deal. That's something that's pretty easy to do and doesn't usually cost more than about $100. And then there was also an issue in which the tail lights were staying on and causing the battery to drain. So that was a little bit more nefarious. And I said, okay, well, I can kind of figure something out for that one. It also has a lot more issues that weren't disclosed. So I bought this blindly. I said, hey, it sounds like it's got a few things. I'll take a risk on it for $2,500. And I came through with my word. I went up there and, despite it looking pretty rough and having a few more obvious issues, I committed to that price. And I feel like worst case scenario, I will still get that amount back out of it. And in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because this car is beyond what I can do. And I'm not going to get it up to that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range that you can see a good example go for. You can see the bumper is absolutely horrible on this. The side was pretty dented. Not awful, but not great. We've got hail on the hood. We've got paint fading. So it's just old and worn out, frankly. Now, the other issues that I found were that the air conditioning didn't work. Not a huge deal. I heard the compressor click on, and that's kind of a tip. Are you looking at a $40 repair maybe, where you're just refilling the coolant in there, or are you looking at $1,500 to replace the whole compressor and clutch and all that stuff? So, I noticed that it clicked on, which is good. I think that if I wanted to, I could just put a little bit of Freon in there and I'd have a working AC. What's probably the most concerning is, it had a check engine light, but as I got into the power band and tried to drive it like a WRX, it drove really lumpy, down on power, felt like it had a misfire. And as I got it up to about 5,000 RPM, the check engine light was flashing. So that tells me that A, I'm going to have trouble with this passing emissions here in Denver, and B, it's one of those things that can be really, really hard to trace down. Fuel and spark issues. I typically am not going to avoid a car for those, because there's usually an easy solution. But the problem is you might go through 7 or 8 different attempts to fix something. You think you've got the issue, you replace this, you replace that, and it still doesn't get to it. So the code was saying that it's running too lean. That can be a number of things. So when I put all this together and said, okay, I need to put in brakes, it's ugly and it's not going to look a whole lot better. Sure, I can refinish the headlights. Sure, I can, polish it, clean it up a little bit, and have it pop in the pictures and get a little bit more attention. And I might do that. I might, do whatever an hour or two's worth gets me, and, $15 at the car wash. But what I'm not going to do is get myself bogged down with trying to make this into a car that is just not going to be. Even though it's pretty original and stock, and it's got 173,000 miles, which is not terrible on a car like this. There's a market for it, and I know that market is going to pay me at least $2,500 for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to list it for about $4,000, and I'm going to try and get as close to that as I can. but be happy just to get my money back. More to come on this one.